Well, let's see here. I might not be Morgan Freeman, but this is... Classic Gamer Reviews.
Alright, you dumb fuck. Land the plane.
That's what I'm trying to do. It would help if you stop talking.
Do you not like my advice?
It's not that. It's just you're not really helpful. So I guess yeah, it is. Oh God! Mayday! Mayday! Ah!
You crashed, dumbass.
Pilotwings to the Super Nintendo is one of those games that gets a lot of praise, and there's a lot of reason for that. You see, nowadays, with the graphics looking like this, and this, and this, a lot of games don't have difficulty with what they want to portray. It wasn't always like this, however. Games used to have a lot of difficulty telling you what they wanted to portray. Egoraptor went over this in his sequelitis review of Castlevania 1 and 2.
This was difficult in the NES days because, I mean, look at this! What is this even? So they had to, like most other developers at the time, resort to using the game.
And he's awesome and fantastic and cool and smart. And I can't help but agree with him when it comes to this game. There's going to be an overall theme that I use a lot in this review. Approachability. This was Nintendo's first home console that came out following the video game crash of 1983. So it needed to be approachable. Because if you release a game like this, people are going to freak the fuck out. Nintendo couldn't have a cryptic game where you have to read the instruction manual to know how to play. While they did include the instruction manuals, however, the smarter games out there, like Pilotwings, use their gameplay to show you how to play. By the way, for all you kids out there, an instruction manual is a book inside the game case that tells you how to play. I tell you this because nowadays, this is all you get. How do I play? Pilotwings was already a graphic-heavy game when it came out. It used the state-of-the-art Mode 7 graphics. Mode 7 graphics are tilted 2D images that give a 3D feel, commonly found in an overworld map of Final Fantasy and Star Wars. But despite being a good-looking game, there were still some flaws that would inevitably appear. However, Nintendo knew this. You see, the human eye judges Nintendo distance by size, and a lot of the goals in this game are running into balls while traveling 80+ miles per hour. So it's helpful to be able to see far ahead. But the problem is there were only so many pixels that can be shown for faraway objects, and a lot of the time the balls were the same size. Balls are different sizes. Fuck! However, even without the instruction manual, I was able to notice a pattern. While from a distance, both balls may be the same size, there's a color pattern. Green, yellow, so I always knew what the next ball I had to touch was. Nintendo basically said, fuck, there's a problem, but we'll admit it. Back then you didn't get a second chance unless you were Capcom and you released the same game every 10 days with only slight alterations. Super Edition! Mega Edition! Same game you bought last week! A game needed to be done when they released it. There were no Xbox Live updates or stuff like that back then. Had this brilliant color pattern solution not been made, this game would have done horrible. Though there are some times when the game's view is a bit difficult to judge, especially for spinning objects. But in some cases, Nintendo recognizes this and lets you change the view. Come on, I gotta, ah! Not only did Nintendo know the things that couldn't be fixed and found alternative solutions, but they also knew what they did right. They focused on the objectives of levels. For the most part, all the levels are the same. You fly here, the building's flat. Granted, each level has different areas where you can land because of, well, land. Hey Chris, if it's not too much of an inconvenience, can you get off the damn roof? I'll get off the roof when I feel like it! More detail was put into the objectives of the level. It's not to say that the level's not important, but when everything's flat, you can only do so much. So there's only a few levels, but you're always approaching things differently, whether you're flying, gliding, or dying. So it didn't really matter that there were only a few levels. Granted, later on in the game, they do incorporate things such as wind, and weather, and time of day, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same. It's similar to a New Game Plus mode. It doesn't need to be there, but it adds more to the game. So the variety in levels is there, and it also isn't. However, there's a lot of variety in the amount of ways the instructors insult you. They don't offer much advice, so it feels unjustified when they criticize you. I'm not stupid, so before playing the game I sort of had an idea on how the controls were, but let's say I didn't. By the way, Egoraptor went over this in one of his reviews, but this is the only time I disagree with him. If you don't press anything at the menu screen, it gives you an amazing instruction on how to play. It says what buttons are being pressed and all that fun jazz. My opinion on this? Egoraptor went over in his Mega Man review how learning through the game is important. And I also said that in the beginning of this review as well. But I just thought I'd give a shout out to this really nice tutorial system. And I'm pretty sure that Egoraptor would agree with this, because tutorials in games can sometimes be good. I like this feature because the only other time the game tells you how to play is if you press A before each mission. And there's a lot more to landing a plane than just knowing the controls. There's a lot of skill that goes into it, like angle and all that fun stuff. So you would think, okay, maybe the instructors are gonna help me. But no, all they do is give you stupid-ass remarks and dumbass advice.
Yeah, we should all add skis on your plane. Just saying.
No shit, Sherlock! I wish I was kidding you, but I shit you not. They give you no help. It isn't until the later levels where you already know how to fly that they start giving you advice. But by then, I don't need it! And even then, it's still stupid as ever.
Land on land, just so you know.
What in God's green fuck do you think I was doing? Even when you do good, the instructors still find a way to make you feel like shit.
Wow, I didn't expect you to do so well.
Yeah, fuck you!
Fantastic. I won't judge my appearance.
Would you judge a slap to the face, bitch? So expect to get yelled at a lot. A lot of the instructors have massive mood swings, especially the first instructor.
Yeah, it was pretty tough, wasn't it, you dumbass? Oh, I'm sorry, you're not certified.
Because the game judges you on basic traits the instructors observe during your flights, it's addicting to replay each level and try to get a higher score. Most of the time I could give 2 fucks less what my score is, but since the game mainly focuses on your score, I felt compelled to do good. It's like, imagine if Tetris didn't have a marathon mode, and instead, the objective was to not fill the screen for 2 minutes in order to get to the next level. I wouldn't care what the fuck my score was. None at all. 2 shits less. Don't care.
The point is, he really doesn't care.
No, you. Shut the fuck up! All I would care about is just getting to the next level. But since that isn't the case, I usually just play Tetris to get a high score, which is similar to this game. It feels good beating your last score, and that good feeling stays until the instructor puts you down more. I get it, you're pissed off at me. One part of the game takes a completely different turn and has you saving your instructors from bad guys. You control a helicopter and blow the shit out of blocks. You can tell that since the levels are so short, they really were just added as a bonus to the game. But even then, the controls are completely different and it's fun. It's a tacked on minigame that has a lot of effort put into it. Adding a new and creative thing to your game gives replay value and it makes it fun for people. Nintendo knew this, and that's why this game excelled. In conclusion though, to the minigame, after an hour of constantly being told how much I suck, I didn't really feel compelled to save my instructors. I enjoyed this game a lot, and I'm surprised to say that in fact it has aged well. I played this game for the first time recently, and because of that I didn't expect the controls to be so good. I love them. They respond well, and a lot of my crashes only in the game because I didn't think the game was sophisticated enough to notice my mistakes. It's sort of like how in Metal Gear, you don't think that your footprints will get you noticed, but they do.
Whose footprints are these?
In fact, a lot of the game feels like that throughout the whole entire playthrough. If you think you're gonna crash, chances are you will. That's not to say that this is bad. The game is extremely well built, and I couldn't have enjoyed it any more.
What was that noise?
I may not be Morgan Freeman, but this is Classic Gamer Reviews.
Same game you bought last week edition!